Chapter 51 Dai Mubai Visits in the Dark Night. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Dai Hengyu also understood Dai Yao's situation, and in just a moment, he understood that this was just Dai Yao's excuse. He sighed secretly, and understood Dai Yao's choice in his heart. He was a little disappointed, but more disgusted by the clan rules. He let out a long breath, leaned on the seat weakly, and warned Dai Yao. Dai Yao, you have to understand that there are some things you can't do. Once you do it, there is no turning back. Dai Yao and Dai Hengyu looked at each other, and both sides understood what the other was thinking. Dai Hengyu pursed his lips a few times, his eyes flashed, and he looked at Dai Yao without saying a word for a long time, and asked unwillingly. Have you really decided? Dai Yao nodded heavily. Dai Hengyu closed his eyes helplessly and slowly exhaled a breath of turbid air, as if he wanted to spit out all the years of depression. The two of them stopped talking, and the air suddenly solidified. Dai Yao knew very well that this was the fateful moment. In the third uncle's mind, which one is more important, is his feelings for him or abiding by the family's rules? If the family's rules were taken seriously, Dai Yao would not be able to leave this house today, and he might be imprisoned or even killed directly in the future. If his feelings were the priority, Dai Hengyu would turn a blind eye to his betrayal and leave the Star Luo Empire, and even add fuel to the fire. After a long time, Dai Hengyu broke the suffocating atmosphere. He glanced at Dai Yao complicatedly and said, Go ahead and leave Xingluo. I can only buy you 7 days. After 7 days, I won't be able to hide the news that you went to Wuhuan Palace. By then, I won't care about your life or death. He waved his hand and signaled Dai Yao to leave. Thank you, third uncle. Dai Yao slowly knelt down, kowtowed 3 times solemnly, then turned and left without looking back. He knew how much sacrifice the third uncle had to make in making such a decision. Prince Xingluo, the rules of the family are the foundation of his life. Letting go of Dai Yao means that he has let go of what he has believed in for half his life. The third uncle's feelings for him have exceeded his belief in the family. Compared with his nominal father, Emperor Xingluo, third uncle is more like his real father. Thank you, third uncle. Dai Yao looked at the nameplate of the vice principal on the door and felt warm in his heart. During his 6 years in the cold palace, he had learned only one thing, and that was caution. In fact, he also prepared for the worst. That is, after understanding his determination, Dai Hengyu will put him under house arrest and hand him over to the Presbyterian Council for disposal. Once such a situation occurs, he will take the initiative to expose the secret of the twin martial spirits. With such a talent, even the White Tiger family would not easily kill him, and his life would be saved. Secondly, Wuhuan Palace will save him at all costs. Twin martial souls, in the era when gods do not appear, as long as they become a title Douluo, they will be the top strong man in the Douluo Continent. Even the Spirit Hall will not give up on him easily. At the same time, this also meant that his third uncle had completely given up on him. He had no relatives in the Star Luo Empire. In the vastness of the world, I am alone. Kill everything and turn the world upside down. No more scruples. Fortunately, Dai Hengyu did not choose this path. Office of the Vice President. The wall behind Dai Hengyu suddenly opened a gap, and a man in grey robe appeared in the room, kneeling on one knee to Dai Hengyu. Did you hear everything? Dai Hengyu said with a cold face, no longer any warmth on his face. I heard it. The man in grey robe lowered his head and replied lifelessly, there are various types of guards in the Xingluo royal family, but the highest is undoubtedly the legendary shadow guards, the personal bodyguards of the royal family. Among the shadow guards, there are all experts who are 1 in a million, and there are even some strong soul saints, and the one kneeling in front of Dai Hengyu was a contra-level shadow guard. Get rid of everyone who knows that the fourth prince is going to the Wuhuan Hall, and be careful not to miss your whereabouts. Dai Hengyu said indifferently, a simple sentence can determine the fate of hundreds of people. In Douluo Continent, civilians are like ants. Yes. The moment the shadow guard finished answering, it turned into a black mist and disappeared. Dai Yao, I lost your mother because of my fault. This time, consider it my atonement. Dai Hengyu came to the window, looked at the bright scenery outside, and said sadly, the silent vice principal's office felt a little desolate. There is only 1 day left before the duel. Today it was rare for Dai Yao not to cultivate, sitting on the bank with Zhu Zhuqing, admiring the beautiful scenery of the waterfall together. Under the night, the waterfall in front of you is like a white silk and satin, with a white edge for the night. In the surrounding forest, animal calls sounded from time to time. For the first time in 3 years, he found the waterfall so beautiful. You are a cultivator. Zhu Zhuqing stretched out his finger, poked Dai Yao's face, and complained helplessly. Dai Yao smiled and did not explain. After all, in the Baihu family, if you don't practice seriously, you will die slowly. Tomorrow is the duel, and it is meaningless to practice again. The most important thing at this time is to calm down, so that you can show your due strength in tomorrow's duel. He was suddenly startled. What's wrong? Zhu Zhuqing asked suspiciously after noticing Dai Yao, who was abnormal. It's nothing, you go back to your room and rest first. Dai Yao looked at Zhu Zhuqing's pretty face in his arms, and said softly. Although Zhu Zhuqing didn't understand what happened, he still obeyed and returned to the room. Seeing that Zhu Zhuqing entered the house safely, Dai Yao walked along the bank and walked into the forest step by step. Come out, he said to the dark forest in front of him. When did you discover me? A white figure appeared slowly, with disheveled hair and unkempt appearance, but those evil eyes were piercing and unwavering. It was the second wretch in the academy, Dai Mubai. It seems that your decadence is just a disguise. Your cultivation has never stopped. Looking at Dai Mubai's determined eyes, Dai Yao said coldly. Isn't it the same for you? Bear the humiliation and practice with concentration. Dai Mubai shrugged slightly. Dai Yao was surprised. In the past 3 years, he and Dai Mubai had not had any interaction. He originally thought that Dai Mubai would give up on himself after his failure, but he didn't expect that this was just his disguise. What are you doing with me today? Dai Yao asked. I will leave the Star Luo Empire tomorrow. Dai Mubai had some confusion on his face. For leaving Xingluo was the best news. He had been very frustrated in the past few years at Xingluo Royal Academy, but he didn't know who to share the joy in his heart. In fact, he and Dai Yao were in the same situation. Although they had a queen mother and an older brother, they were both like strangers. On the contrary, Dai Yao, who had defeated him, had different emotions in his heart. Perhaps they are both looked down upon by others and feel sympathy for each other. Congratulations. Dai Yao smiled and said, I'm finally ready to leave this repressive family. He was filled with emotion. Although Zhu Zhuqing was gone, Dai Mubai still decided to leave the Star Luo Empire. You should also make plans. The Star Luo Empire is not the place we should stay. Ever since Davis became the captain of the Star Luo Royal Academy, he has been preparing to attack you. Dai Mubai reminded kindly. Thank you, but I have no such plan yet. Dai Yao replied. Dai Yao was cautious by nature, and he would not tell Dai Mubai that he would leave the Star Luo Empire in a few days. Dai Mubai shook his head, thinking that Dai Yao was still young and would only choose to turn when he suffered. He looked at the small house in Tanbian. The dim light shone on the window, leaving a beautiful shadow. He said to Dai Yao with some envy, treat her well. You don't need to tell me, I can do it too. In the dark night, 2 people named 2 brothers will walk on the same path. Chapter 52. The curtain opens. You are listening at novelfull.audio. When Dai Mubai left, Dai Yao said something incomprehensible. Don't worry, we'll see you again later. Dai Mubai was a little confused. What do you mean? You'll understand later. The second day, facing the rising glow, Dai Yao opened his eyes. After a brief wash, I put on a plain white dress. Zhu Zhuqing stretched out her hands and carefully arranged his clothes, smoothing out the wrinkles. He lowered his head but said nothing. Dai Yao understood her thoughts, stroked her back, and comforted, don't worry, it's okay. Zhu Zhuqing couldn't bear it anymore and threw herself into Dai Yao's arms. Her body was shaking. Dai Yao noticed. You must win and come back alive. Zhu Zhuqing's voice was filled with tears. I promise you, I will definitely do it. Dai Yao said solemnly, opening the door. 2 people were waiting for him. It was Feng Wudong and Zhang Xiaofan, both of whom had undisguised worry on their faces. Dai Yao couldn't help but joke. You keep a straight face no matter what, it's not like I can't come back. You're still in the mood to joke. Feng Wudong couldn't help but roll her eyes at him. Your opponent is the second prince who has been famous in the academy for many years. He is powerful and famous. Although everyone is not optimistic about you, we will definitely cheer for you from the sidelines. Zhang Xiaofan on the side also agreed. Don't you all think so highly of me? Dai Yao said with a smile, looking at the two worried faces in front of him. He stopped joking and said seriously, don't worry, I will definitely win this duel. Although the two of them didn't know where Dai Yao's confidence lay, such a tone made them relax. Dai Yao's 10-day appointment with the second prince attracted the attention of countless people. He is also a prince, he is also a top-notch beast spirit and white tiger spirit, and he has also reached the realm of a great spirit master. It can be said that he is full of attractions. Not only the students in the academy, but also many teachers are looking forward to this competition. Not only the soul masters in the academy, but also many people from outside the academy were attracted. The one with the highest status is naturally the Platinum Bishop Ferdinand of the Star Luo Imperial City Spirit Temple. Because it was a duel between two princes, it naturally attracted the 5 elders from the Presbyterian Council stationed in the Imperial City, as well as many nobles from the Principality. As time passed, when the last ray of the moon disappeared from the sky, the fiery red light began to dispel the darkness on the earth. As the first ray of morning light shone into the college, the quiet atmosphere instantly dissipated. The 10-day appointment has arrived, the duel between the two princes. Specially opened the long-sealed White Tiger Duel Arena, which is the top duel arena that will only be opened during the elite competition of the All-Continent Advanced Soul Master Academy. The reputation of the White Tiger dueling ground resounds throughout the continent. The dream of many soul masters when they were studying in the academy is to have a duel with all their might in the White Tiger dueling ground. The White Tiger duel arena is very huge, and the whole is in a circular shape. Around the duel arena, the stone steps continue to spread upwards. This shape is like a huge arena. Sitting on the highest stone steps, the duelists on the playing field are like ants. Only by using specific equipment can you see the dueling scene. Even so, the vast duel arena was crowded with people in a short period of time, and the boiling noise kept ringing in everyone's ears. The fiery atmosphere infected everyone who entered the arena. On the high platform of the duel arena, a huge open space was specially prepared for people of high status. Not only is the viewing angle the best, but the experience of watching the game is also much better. But today, the open space is also overcrowded. Many soul masters from the Principality studying at the Royal Academy and nobles from the Empire have flocked here. At the front of everyone, there are still a few places left. The positions of the 4 princes represent the positions of the 5 elders of the Presbyterian Church, the positions of Dai Hengyu, the vice president of the college, and Ferdinand, the platinum bishop of the Wuhuan Temple. It's just a pity, because there is only 10 days, otherwise many people from the 7 major sects will come. Many people were already seated on the high platform. Amidst the din, Bishop Ferdinand endured Dai Yao's joy, forced a smirk on his face that he had maintained for many years, and challenged the 5th elder beside him. Oh, isn't it the same scene 3 years ago? It's just that the 4th prince's opponent has changed from the 3rd prince to the 2nd prince. Your Star Luo Empire is really full of talents, so many geniuses don't know how to cherish them. He added another sentence in his heart, the talents that your Xingluo royal family doesn't know how to cherish, we in Wuhuan Palace will cherish for you. The 3rd prince Dai Mubai sitting aside twitched his lips, but quickly adjusted himself, opened the wine bottle, and took a sip, pretending to give up on himself. The smell of alcohol made many people around him frown secretly. Hearing Bishop Ferdinand's sinister tone, the 5th elder didn't look good. Humph. Our Star Luo Empire has been passed down for thousands of years, so we naturally have something unique. It's not like your spirit hall. The Pope was surnamed Qian yesterday, but today he's Bai. Maybe he'll be surnamed Hu tomorrow. There's no tradition at all. The 5th elder would not argue with Ferdinand about the clan rules, but would directly retort and attack each other's shortcomings. But Ferdinand just smiled and said nothing, and even said in his heart, maybe the Pope will be named Dai tomorrow. Looking at Ferdinand with a fake smile on his face, the 5th elder became even more disgusted with this person. He always felt that there was something hidden in Ferdinand's smile. On the field, the 2nd prince was already sitting quietly adjusting his breath, waiting for his opponent to arrive. he was dressed in extremely exquisite clothes. He was sitting upright on the court with a graceful demeanor. His appearance did not look like the usual fortitude of the White Tiger family, but was actually a bit handsome. Many female spectators in the duel field were excited. Davis sat on the high platform, looking at Dai Yaming, who was acting coquettishly, and sneered in his heart. In the past 3 years, if he had not competed for the position of captain of the Star Luo Royal Academy team, he would have eliminated the two clowns Dai Yaming and Dai Yao long ago. He knew clearly that this Dai Yaming looked elegant and talented, but was actually a deep-minded guy. He had accidentally suffered big losses several times. Dai Yaming, just wait, if you defeat that brat Dai Yao today, I will defeat you tomorrow. Since you still want to fight me, I won't be polite. In his heart, Dai Yao had no chance of winning. After all, how could a soul master who had just obtained the second soul ring be the opponent of Dai Yaming, who had been immersed in the competition for many years and whose soul power had reached level 29? As time goes by, the moment of duel finally comes. The originally boiling duel field slowly became quiet, and everyone's eyes were focused on the passage on the other side, waiting for the appearance of another duelist. The legendary coward of the academy, the fourth prince, Dai Yao. Suddenly, Ferdinand's narrowed eyes on the high platform suddenly widened. He glanced at him and said, "Here he comes." Chapter 53 Testing. You are listening at novelfull.audio. At the other end of the passage, a plain white figure slowly appeared. His golden hair is slightly shawl, his face is resolute, his figure is as straight as a gun, a pair of black eyes are like cold stars in the dark night. As soon as he appeared on the stage, there was a commotion in the duel field, and many girls were secretly excited. With extraordinary splendor, several snorts suddenly sounded from the high platform, one from Zhu Zhuqing and the other from Davis. Davis felt that Dai Yao, a brat, was better at selling than him, so he became angry and snorted coldly. "You brat, you're really showing off. Let's see how proud you are after today." Zhu Zhuqing thought angrily, then she looked at Zhu Zhuqing maliciously, but was blocked by Dai Hengyu. Dai Hengyu's tone was not serious, and he raised his eyebrows at Zhu Zhuqing and said, "Dai Yao's little girlfriend, if you think someone is too boring, why not sit here with me?" Hearing the words little girlfriend, Zhu Zhuqing blushed and moved away from Zhu Zhuqing without leaving a trace. There have been changes on the field, too. Have you finally stopped being a coward? Dai Yaming snorted coldly, looking at Dai Yao not far away. Since the battle between Fatty and Dai Yao, Fatty is still unable to move even with the help of the auxiliary soul master. Fatty's failure made him lose face. Many nobles who followed him abandoned him. For a while, his power shrank a lot. The culprit of both of them is Dai Yao. Hearing Dai Yaming's words, Dai Yao just smiled faintly. "We both know the reason for this infamy, so why bother? Such simple words can't affect my mentality." Dai Yaming's face suddenly darkened a lot. Although he was powerful, he was more accustomed to being a strategizing general rather than a charging warrior. At this moment, a Soul Emperor-level referee came on stage. He flew high into the sky and pressed his hands to signal everyone to be quiet. "Please keep quiet, don't affect the outcome of the game." Then he came to the two of them and said, "No knives or hidden weapons are allowed during the competition. The one who falls down on the ring is the loser, and the one who voluntarily admits defeat is the loser. Do you two have any objections?" "No." Dai Yao and Dai Yao said in unison. The two people's eyes met in the air, and the fighting spirit rose in their hearts. "Game start." The referee lowered his hand and announced the official start of the game. Dai Yaming first possessed the spirit of martial arts, and the word on his forehead exuded majesty that could not be looked directly at. Dai Yaming, level 29 attack type battle spirit master, martial spirit white tiger, please give me your advice. Even though they were 100 meters away, the powerful fluctuations in soul power made the first row of spectators breathe quickly, and their hearts felt heavy, as if they were being weighed down by a huge boulder. Even the audience on the highest stone steps can feel a faint sense of pressure. The gap in martial arts brought immense pressure to the audience, and the surging soul power also frightened them. They could not imagine how much pressure Dai Yao, the most rival, was under, but at this time, Dai Yao couldn't feel the slightest pressure. His skin pulsed, pushing away all stress. Although there is a 6-level soul power gap between him and Dai Yaming, it does not affect him at all. 3 years of hard work have not been in vain after all. Dai Yao was secretly happy. Under the waterfall, I practiced hard for 3 years and endured the pressure, just for now. The difference in soul power will no longer affect him. He bowed his hands and said, Dai Yao, a level 23 attack-type battle soul master, a sacred white tiger of martial souls, please give me your advice. Before he finished speaking, he used his explosive step, and like a white lightning, he quickly struck towards Dai Yaming. In the process of flying, the sacred white tiger spirit is attached to the body. Although the wings behind him cannot really fly, they can provide a considerable increase in speed. In the blink of an eye, he was in front of Dai Yaming. So fast. Dai Yaming thought in shock. Dai Yao's eyes reflected his frightened face. It was only a few breaths from when Dai Yao finished speaking to when Dai Yao appeared in front of him. How is it possible that my soul power has no suppression on him? Cold sweat fell from his face. This lightning-fast speed caused exclamations in the dual field to continue, rising and falling like a sea wave. They were surprised not only by the speed, but also by the martial spirit in the white light, the terrifying pressure from the martial spirit. Some people with bad intentions can't even hide the panic on their faces. If the pressure brought by Dai Yaming's white tiger martial spirit was like a stone weighing on their hearts, then the pressure brought by the sacred white tiger martial spirit was like a mountain weighing on their hearts, suffocating. It's so beautiful. Bishop Ferdinand looked at Dai Yao's martial spirit in fascination and said with emotion, this was the 3rd time he saw this martial spirit, but every time he saw it, he was shocked. Just from the beginning, the situation took a turn for the worse. Dai Yao looked at Dai Yaming coldly, tightened his right fist, and the liquid soul power in his body was roaring like a river in his body. Baji, collapse. The fist force struck Dai Yaming with an unparalleled momentum with a harsh sound of breaking the wind. His punch was filled with dark energy. As long as it hit Dai Yaming, he could temporarily lose his combat effectiveness. Just like the last battle with Fatty, the battle would be resolved in lightning speed. But after all, Dai Yaming is not an easy person to deal with. How could someone defeated by Davis be defeated so easily? The first yellow soul ring lights up, followed by the white tiger protective barrier. Boom, the huge collision sound resounded throughout the entire duel field, and cracks actually appeared on the ground under Dai Yaming's feet. You know, this is a place that can withstand a Soul King level battle. Many people covered their ears. The sound was so loud that their ears could not stand it. When they looked towards the duel field, they found that the two of them had separated. After Baji Beng was blocked, the two briefly fought several times, and Dai Yao found that he was obviously suppressed by Dai Yaming. Without the use of soul skills, he is not Dai Yaming's opponent. The gap in actual combat experience between the two is too big, just like when he fought Dai Mubai 3 years ago. The gap in practical experience. After all, in the past 3 years, Dai Yao had been sitting for 3 years, cultivating his soul power and had no time to take into account actual combat. This is the move you use to defeat Fatty. How could I not be prepared if you defeated Fatty with this move? Dai Yaming smiled faintly. According to the fat man's description, when he took your move that day, he felt pain all over his internal organs. This must be in gene. Dai Yao smiled and shook his head. Since Dai Yaming already knew the secret power of Baji Beng, it seemed that he couldn't make a quick decision. As long as Baji Beng hits, he can achieve the effect of winning with one blow, but he didn't expect Dai Yaming to be prepared for it. If the white tiger's protective barrier cannot be broken, Baji Beng's dark energy will have no effect on Dai Yaming. When he was a first-level soul master, Baji Beng's power was strong enough, but as a great soul master, Baji Beng's power was gradually insufficient, and it made sense that he couldn't break the white tiger's protective barrier. Now, let's start the real battle. Dai Yao's energy flashed. Since the strange trick didn't work, he would win the duel with dignity. As the soul power fluctuated, 2 soul rings were slowly released. Many readers say that my writing is depressing, and I don't know how to answer. I actually want to write cool articles. Do you believe me? Chapter 54: The Real Showdown. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Seeing Dai Yao fleeing quickly after suffering a loss, Dai Yaming put away his hands and smiled contemptuously. Huh, why did you escape? Don't you dare to confront me head-on. In other words, everyone is right, you are just a coward. Anyone with a little bit of discernment can see that Dai Yao's move failed to achieve the effect. After being guarded by Dai Yaming, he was at a disadvantage in subsequent fights. This is the difference in actual combat. The second prince must win. That's right, the fourth prince is just a clown. The actual combat gap between the two princes is too big, and the fourth prince's failure has been exposed. If the fourth prince cannot come up with something new, the situation will be dangerous. Someone analyzed calmly. Feng Wudong, who was watching the battle, couldn't help but feel worried, and Yi Nanshan's face darkened. Compared with those who support Dai Yao, the second prince has many more supporters. Seeing that the second prince had gained the upper hand in the battle, the duel arena instantly erupted with rhythmic cheers. The sound was rumbling, like ocean waves, rising and falling one after another. A strong sense of oppression surged toward Dai Yao from all directions, and the invisible pressure seemed to make his footsteps a little heavier. On the high platform, Zhu Zhuqing held his hands on his chest with a worried expression, while Zhu Zhuyue beside him was beaming with joy and triumph. Look, my dear sister, enjoy the carnage that follows. Her eyes were charming, but her words were extremely cold. The fifth elder looked at the field coldly. When he casually glanced at Bishop Ferdinand beside him, he found that there was some expectation in the bishop's eyes. What was he expecting? The fifth elder thought in confusion. But what happened next on the field explained his doubts. Although the strange move did not achieve any success, Dai Yao understood the difference between him and Dai Yaming, which was enough to determine his own fighting strategy. In that case, let's start the real battle. Dai Yao's energy flashed. Since the strange move didn't work, he would win the duel with dignity. A real battle? Dai Yaming was confused. He really couldn't imagine what chance Dai Yao had of winning. Dai Yao summoned his soul power, and the plain white gown on his body moved automatically without wind, and two soul rings slowly rose from his feet, one yellow and one purple. The purple soul ring shines brightly, mysteriously, and powerfully. Wow, the whole duel field was filled with uproar like a roaring mountain and a tsunami. Countless people stood up involuntarily. The purple soul ring attracted everyone's attention. What is that? I saw it right. Someone rubbed his eyes and couldn't believe what he saw. You read that right, that is really a 1,000-year soul ring. The people around him swallowed their saliva and looked at the purple soul ring blankly. How did the fourth prince do it? Is he really the trash he is rumored to be? Some people questioned Dai Yao's bad reputation over the past 3 years. Is he a monster? Someone pointed at Dai Yao blankly, cold sweat sliding down his face. As soon as the purple soul ring came out, the entire duel arena was filled with excitement. As the referee, the Soul Emperor couldn't help but be attracted by the purple soul ring. After a while, he remembered his duty. Silence. Silence. The referee flew into the sky and unabashedly released the pressure of the powerful Soul Emperor. Even so, it took a long time for the entire duel field to slowly become quiet, but the shock in my heart could not be eliminated. The nobles on the high platform also stood up one after another, lying in front of the railings, looking at the scene in shock. How did this kid do it? The fifth elder's beard kept trembling, and for the first time he doubted the family's rules. Are the family rules really correct? Is it really worth letting a genius like Dai Yao perish in order to uphold the rules? Bishop Ferdinand next to him felt happy when he saw Dai Yao's second soul ring that shocked the world, but he suppressed his laughter, giving people a very funny feeling. Such a genius chooses to take refuge in our Wuhuan palace. It is truly a blessing from the gods. The fifth elder happened to see Ferdinand's funny expression, and was very worried. He asked angrily, "What do you want to do? If your spirit hall dares to harm Dai Yao, our Star Luo Empire will definitely make you pay the price." Oh my dear fifth elder, please believe me, I absolutely have no such intention. Dai Yao can't defeat Davis anyway, he will die, so why should I bother? The bishop's tone made the fifth elder angry, but he also knew that there was nothing wrong with what the bishop said. He sighed secretly in his heart and could only try his best to save Dai Yao's life and pass on his martial spirit and talent. Bishop Ferdinand returned to his fake smile, feeling secretly happy in his heart. the geniuses that your Star Luo Empire doesn't cherish, the Spirit Hall, will help you cherish. As the duel field gradually became quiet, everyone's attention returned to the duel itself. But the shock that the purple soul ring brought to them could not be recovered for a long time. Dai Yaming stared at the soul ring in stunned silence, and a thunder seemed to explode in his heart. He knew that the game was gradually getting out of his control. The outcome of the duel became confusing. Damn it, if it weren't for that damn Yi Nantian, would have dealt with this kid Dai Yao long ago. Why wait until today? Dai Yaming clenched his hands, hating secretly in his heart, but he quickly calmed down his turbulent mood, calmly looked at Dai Yao in front of him, and said without any emotion. I really shouldn't have given you those 10 days. What's the use of talking about this now? Let's start the real showdown now. All eyes were focused on Dai Yao, but he did not dare to relax at all. In a life-and-death battle, there can be no carelessness. The purple soul ring shines, and the second soul skill is activated. On the field, the airflow between heaven and earth was stirred by this powerful breath, and gathered in a spiral shape towards Dai Yao. When the purple soul ring flashed, Dai Yao's whole body was enveloped in white light. Then, white light gathered little by little in front of Dai Yao's mouth, forming a white ball of light. The white ball of light exuded a terrifying aura that made people palpitate. Dai Yao put his hands in front of him, with his 4 fingers together and his thumbs apart, aiming. After determining the target, his eyes sparkled. The second soul skill, White Tiger Fierce Light Wave. Everyone only saw the white light wave, like lightning, crossing half of the duel field, and then, the powerful air flow gathered the harsh sound of breaking wind and swept towards everyone. The audience's hair and clothes were blown up by the air current, and the harsh sound of breaking wind made them have to cover their ears. Another burst of exclamation sounded from the audience. Dai Yaming looked at the terrifying white balls gathering in front of Dai Yao's mouth, and felt a little scared. What he liked was to use his own power to crush his opponents, rather than go into battle and fight with the opponent himself. But he turned to look at Zhu Zhuqing, who looked worried in the audience, and felt cruel in his heart. So what if he had a 1,000-year soul skill? His 6th-level soul power, which was higher than Dai Yao's, was not just a decoration. Chapter 55 Collision. You are listening at novelfull.audio. The second soul ring lit up. It was also the white tiger Lai Guanghua. It's just that Dai Yao's is a 1,000-year soul skill, while Dai Yaming's is a century-old soul skill. Under everyone's gaze, 2 identical white light waves collided together. The 2 white light waves converged into a sphere at the point of collision, and the energy released by the 2 was continuously pouring into the energy sphere. Everyone was surprised to find that the energy ball was slowly moving towards Dai Yaming. This 1,000-year soul skill is indeed extraordinary. Even though there is a 6th-level soul power gap, it is still much more powerful than Dai Yaming's second soul skill. Dai Yao thought with joy, seeing the energy ball approaching him constantly. Dai Yaming's eyelids twitched wildly, and the destructive aura rushing towards his face made him palpitate endlessly. It can't go on like this. He decided. The light of the second soul ring gradually dissipated, and without the white tiger's fierce light waves that were continuously injected into the energy ball quickly blasted in the direction of Dai Yaming, covering Dai Yaming's figure in just an instant. After the light wave passed through Dai Yaming, it still did not stop and penetrated the protective wall, forming a large hole. Debris continued to fall from the cave. Dai Yaming's supporters all exclaimed. After this blow, it was doubtful whether Dai Yaming could survive safely, let alone win the duel. Zhu Zhuqing looked at the playing field anxiously, trying hard to find Dai Yaming. Now she began to regret in her heart why she had formed a grudge with Dai Yao. If Dai Yaming and Dai Yao had successfully formed an alliance, maybe the position of captain of Xingluo or Royal Academy would belong to Dai Yaming. The current situation would not occur at all. The 5th elder was frightened by Dai Yao's strength. If he defeated the second prince today, given time, he might be able to defeat the eldest prince. The prince who has succeeded to the throne will surely bring the Star Luo Empire to another level. But will the eldest prince give Dai Yao time? Will the queen behind the eldest prince allow Dai Yao to grow up smoothly? Thinking of this, the 5th elder felt distressed. In the smoke, heavy footsteps slowly came out. Is this? Dai Yao narrowed his eyes. He didn't believe that Dai Yaming could be unharmed from the blow just now, but as the smoke cleared, Dai Yaming appeared in front of everyone intact. He was in ragged clothes and had some injuries on his face, but his aura had not weakened at all, and was even stronger than before, especially his right arm, which is emitting blue light. In the duel field, those who supported the second prince instantly burst into cheers for the survivors. How did he block my attack? Dai Yao was puzzled. After noticing the glowing right arm, he understood. This should be his soul bone. Such a strong soul bone skill, it actually completely blocked my white tiger fierce light wave. It is rumored that you have a precious soul bone. It must be the soul bone skill that resisted my 1,000-year soul skill just now. Dai Yao pointed to Dai Yaming's right arm. Not bad. Dai Yaming didn't hide anything, his true identity had been exposed in the battle just now. He stretched out his right arm and said to Dai Yao maliciously, 3,000 years of right arm bone, the soul bone skill destroys the death light. In order to compete for the throne, the second prince's mother spent a lot of money to find him this soul bone that was suitable for him. It can be said that his mother's family has sacrificed everything for him to win the throne. In this battle, like Dai Yao, he could only win but not lose. When Dai Yao heard about the 3,000-year-old right arm bone, his heart trembled, and he secretly thought something was wrong. The age of this right arm bone is not low, and the soul bone skill is the worst one Dai Yao expected. It is a pure offensive soul skill, and it is so powerful that only my own 1,000-year soul skill can compete with it. His greatest advantage was his 1,000-year soul ring, but now it was wiped out by the second prince's soul bone, and the situation was once again at a stalemate. It looks like the outcome has been decided. Davis said calmly, although the situation in front of him is at a stalemate, if the fight continues, Dai Yao will be the disadvantaged party. The gap between the two is not only in combat experience, but also in soul power. How could Dai Yao's level 23 soul power be compared with Dai Yaming's level 29 soul power? The battle just now was a duel between soul skills, which excluded the factor of combat experience. If two people did not use soul skills to duel, I am afraid that Dai Yao would lose quickly. Dai Yaming took off his damaged clothes, revealing his strong body. His eyes were filled with murderous intent, and he said in a cold voice, I admit that your talent shocks the world, but age is the eternal gap between you. Today, I will not give you another chance. Dai Yao ignored Dai Yaming's harsh words, and the verbal dispute was useless. He knew his disadvantages. Combat experience was not his strong point, so he had to make the most of his strengths and avoid his weaknesses, and try his best to use soul skills in duels. The battle that followed was beyond everyone's expectations. Whenever the second prince wanted to engage in a close combat with Dai Yao's first move would be Baji Bang. Knowing what he had done before, Dai Yaming had to use the white tiger body barrier to defend himself. After one move, Dai Yao immediately used his explosive step to leave the battlefield and circled with Dai Yaming. When the charge is completed, use Baji Bang to attack Dai Yaming again. Missing a hit, he immediately ran away, making Dai Yaming extremely angry. After several times, Dai Yaming couldn't stand it anymore and used his soul bone skill to attack Dai Yao. Dai Yao was not polite and activated his second soul skill to block the attack of Dai Yaming's soul bone skill. The two have been in a stalemate like this. Dai Yao did not fight Dai Yaming at all when he had no soul skills. The changes on the field made countless spectators wonder why the battle turned out like this, one chasing and one escaping, endlessly funny. As expected, he is a coward. He dare not confront him head-on. Zhu Zhuyue looked at Zhu Zhuqing angrily. Hearing Zhu Zhuyue's words, many noble soul masters couldn't help twitching their mouths. If Dai Yaming hadn't possessed a soul bone, the current situation would be one-sided. Dai Yao completely suppressed Dai Yaming and beat him. If an ordinary great soul master met an opponent like Dai Yao, he would have already lost. Zhu Zhuqing ignored Zhu Zhuyue. She pursed her lips tightly and stared intently at the duel arena. Every time Dai Yao and Dai Yaming's soul skills clashed, her heart tightened. Using soul skill duels, Dai Yao did make Dai Yaming's advantage in actual combat experience invisible, but what about soul power? Every time a soul skill is used, the soul power in the body will decrease by 1 point. How could it be possible for Dai Yao at the 23rd level to compete with Dai Yaming at the 29th level in terms of soul power? As time went by, everyone gradually understood the situation on the court. Dai Yao was clearly dying slowly. As long as the soul power is exhausted, Dai Yao will be defeated. The sinister smile at the corner of Dai Yaming's mouth became thicker and thicker. Since Dai Yao wanted to fight with soul skills, he would satisfy him and compete for soul power. He didn't believe that he would lose to Dai Yao. Everyone is not optimistic about Dai Yao, but he himself is not worried. The liquid soul power in his body is surging. Chapter 56 Competition of Soul Power Consumption. You are listening at NovelFull.audio. Using soul power to duel is a smart choice, but it still can't make up for the gap in soul power. It's just lingering. Davis watched the game coldly and thought to himself. He glanced at the drunken Dai Mubai and thought disdainfully, today is the day when Dai Yao dies, and Dai Mubai is useless. It seems that my last opponent is you, Dai Yaming. After constant discussion and analysis, the audience also understood Dai Yao's strategy of avoiding actual combat and using soul skills to duel. Everyone understands that if the game continues, Dai Yao will definitely lose. You brat, you're really a fly. It's buzzing in your ears. You can't drive it away or hit it. Dai Yaming felt very unhappy. He was now waiting for Dai Yao to drain his soul power, and then torture Dai Yao fiercely. A punch struck, and Dai Yaming broke into a cold sweat. If he hadn't released the white tiger barrier in time and was punched by Dai Yao, he might have ended up like Fatty. He calmed down and observed Dai Yao's every move with great vigor. After several more battles of soul skills, both sides had attacks and defenses against each other. In a short period of time, Dai Yao and Dai Yaming fought several times with the white tiger's fierce light wave and the destructive death light. Both sides were breathing heavily and sweating like rain. Continuously performing such powerful soul skills is a huge load on the body. Damn it, why does he still have soul power? Dai Yaming raised his head tiredly and looked at Dai Yao, who was also weak, and was secretly shocked. At this time, he only had less than 30% of his soul power left. According to common sense, Dai Yao should have exhausted his soul power long ago. How could he still be able to unleash his 1,000-year soul ability? Is there something special about him? Could it be that the soul power in his body far exceeds that of a soul master of the same level? Damn it, how many cards does this guy have? That the battle was far more difficult than Dai Yaming imagined. He never thought that Dai Yao could push him to this extent. What's more, he even used the soul bone skills and still couldn't win. Thinking of Dai Yao's endless tricks, Dai Yaming couldn't help but feel numb. He couldn't imagine how powerful Dai Yao was at his age. The people watching the battle gradually realized that something was wrong. Why does the fourth prince still have soul power? A normal level 23 soul master has already exhausted his soul power. As the battle continued, more and more soul masters became aware of the abnormality. Discussions broke out one after another, and the whole duel ground became noisy. On the court, Dai Yao took explosive steps and calmly dealt with Dai Yaming. The corner of his mouth slowly raised into a smile. Dai Yaming and his consumption of soul fighting power played right into his hands. Although his soul power level is only level 23, in fact, his total soul power even exceeds that of a low-level soul master. It's just that his soul power is in a liquid state, causing his soul power level to be lower than that of a normal soul master. After 3 years of training day and night, he twice absorbed soul rings that exceeded the limit, tempering his soul power to an incomparably strong level. After several soul skill duels, he still had 50% of the soul power in his body. There is much more left than Dai Yaming, who is at level 29. Dai Yao was using explosive steps to fly across the duel field while coldly observing Dai Yaming's every move. If you find an opportunity, use your second soul skill. The powerful white tiger's intense light wave forced Dai Yaming to use the destructive death light to resist it. Dai Yaming became more and more anxious, and the word Sichuan formed between his brows. After using the soul bone skill, he only had more than 10% of the soul power left in his body, and he could only use the soul bone skill once more. He had reached the end of his rope, and now the tables were turned. Dai Yao was a hunter, but he became the prey. He no longer had the contemptuous thoughts that Dai Yao had when he chose to compete in the consumption of soul power. Thinking of the horrific consequences of failure after the duel, fear surged in his heart. 3 years ago, after Dai Mubai failed in the duel, he became so decadent that he is still a joke in the academy, and whether he can make it out of the duel alive is a question. No, I must live. Dai Yaming strengthened his belief, but he only had one chance to use his soul bone skills, and it was only a matter of time before he failed. At this moment, the audience looked at the scene in the field and exclaimed, "The second prince's martial spirit possession state flickers on and off, and he can no longer maintain it. Has the second prince's soul power been exhausted?" Dai Yaming's supporters couldn't believe the scene in front of them, and he lay down on the stone steps, leaning on his back helplessly. Why is it that the second prince at level 29 has exhausted his soul power, but the fourth prince with only level 23 soul power is still alive and kicking? That the same doubt arose in everyone's mind. On the high platform, seeing Dai Yaming whose soul power was exhausted, Zhu Zhuyue collapsed softly on the ground, staring blankly at the duel field, not knowing what he was thinking. Zhu Zhuqing, Feng Wutong and others were overjoyed, as if victory was just around the corner. Looking at Dai Yaming who returned to his normal form, Yi Nantian frowned. He saw Dai Yaming's plan to show weakness to the enemy in order to get a chance to strike the final blow. The fifth elder is in a very conflicted mood now. Both princes are rare geniuses. No matter who loses, it makes him heartbroken, but this is the rule of the White Tiger family after all. Although Dai Yaming is in a desperate situation, as long as his plan succeeds, he may have the possibility of a comeback. Similarly, as long as Dai Yao sees through Dai Yaming's plan, Dai Yaming will die. He suppressed the grief in his heart and closed his eyes, unable to bear to see the final result. Next to him, Bishop Ferdinand held his face with his hands and smiled meaningfully. Dai Yao won, so everyone was naturally happy. After the duel, Dai Yao would leave the Star Luo Empire. Dai Yao lost the game, and if he wanted to survive, he had no choice but to seek refuge in Wuhuan Palace. At that time, the initiative will be in his hands. This duel has brought him too many surprises. Regardless of winning or losing, Dai Yao can survive, but this is also a test for Dai Yao. Never underestimate your opponent, even if the opponent is at the end of his rope. Now the situation is completely in Dai Yao's favor. It depends on how he responds to Dai Yaming's desperate fight. If he loses, Wuhuan Palace will not reduce his treatment, but it will undoubtedly take him lightly. Dai Yao was ecstatic when he saw that Dai Yaming was released from the possession of Wuhuan. After 3 years of hard training, enduring loneliness and being bored, today finally comes the day of reward. The shame of 3 years ago must be returned to Dai Yaming in front of everyone today. He slowly walked towards Dai Yaming, his eyes unable to conceal the smile of imminent revenge. The sound of footsteps seemed to announce a death sentence, and like a sound of muffled thunder struck the hearts of the supporters of the second prince. Looking at Dai Yao who was walking slowly, Dai Yaming, who lowered his head, was extremely nervous and his heart was beating like a drum. Get closer. Get closer. In just a few steps, we will be within the attack range of the destroying death ray. Everyone's eyes were focused on Dai Yao. Dai Mubai's wine bottle had fallen to the ground. Seeing that Dai Yao was about to defeat Dai Yaming, they couldn't believe it. Zhu Zhuqing couldn't bear to watch anymore and closed her eyes. Chapter 57 Another Fight with Zhu Zhuqing. You are listening at novelfull.audio. At this moment, Dai Yao's heart skipped a beat. This situation seems a bit familiar. When he was a first-ring soul master, wasn't that what happened during his battle with Yi Nantian? Yi Nantian showed a flaw, and he attacked without thinking. If it weren't for the sacred white tiger spirit, he might have been defeated at that time. What is the difference between Dai Yaming in front of me and Yi Nantian at that time? The caution formed by 6 years of living in the cold palace once again came into play. He stopped, hurriedly used the explosive step, and stepped back. We were clearly going to win. Why did we retreat instead? This strange scene made all the spectators puzzled and talked about it. Yi Nantian finally breathed a sigh of relief and was secretly shocked. What a good boy, you actually saw through the second prince's plan. If I were on the court with countless people's eyes focused on me, I wouldn't be able to be so calm and I would have left without thinking. Past. Bishop Ferdinand smiled gratifiedly, nodded affirmatively and said, the little guy is not only talented, but also has a good heart. He really has a destiny with my spirit hall. Then he turned his eyes and saw Zhu Zhuqing, who was still nervous. He was secretly happy. It's really buy one get one free. Not only did a sacred white tiger martial spirit come, but also a ghost cat martial spirit came. The two of them also had martial soul fusion skills. He should be destined to join our Wuhuan palace. Seeing Dai Yao, who was gradually leaving the attack range, Dai Yaming's eyes were tearing apart, and he roared in despair. Why are you retreating? Why? Dai Yao didn't speak. Seeing Dai Yaming's reaction, he was secretly glad. If he was really careless and was attacked by Dai Yaming's soul bone skill, he would probably be the loser. During the fluctuation of soul power, the second soul ring lights up. 1,000-year soul skill, White Tiger Fierce Light Wave. It's this soul skill again. Dai Yaming was desperate. If he didn't resist the White Tiger's light wave, he would immediately lose his ability to fight. Reluctantly, he mobilized his last soul power, used his soul bone skill, and shot out. The two powerful soul skills were in a stalemate with each other, and as time passed, both returned to nothingness. Dai Yaming knelt down on the ground helplessly, looking at the sky in despair. 2 hot tears ran across his face. Today's defeat, not only him, but also his fiancée, as well as his mother clan, all efforts were in vain. Now he regrets deeply in his heart. If he had cooperated with Dai Yao and established a good relationship, how could he have reached the point where he is today? He couldn't help but disappoint Zhu Zhuyue and his mother's hopes. At this time, Dai Yao was still worried about whether Dai Yaming was acting and was hiding something. He stayed far away from Dai Yaming's attack range and adjusted the soul power surging in his body. With one more white tiger wave of light, he would know whether Dai Yaming had really exhausted his soul power. The body gradually slowed down, and the 1,000-year soul ability lit up, aiming at Dai Yaming, who was kneeling on the ground. Amidst everyone's exclamation and Zhu Zhuyue's desperate cries, the white tiger's intense light enveloped Dai Yaming's body unstoppably. The white light dissipated, and Dai Yaming, who was covered in bruises, rolled over on the dueling field. The whole person seemed to be scorched, and his face could no longer be seen clearly, only the sound of breathing intermittently. It seems that he really has no resistance. Dai Yao thought coldly. He performed a burst step, and an octagonal collapse bombarded Dai Yaming's abdomen. A huge roar resounded throughout the duel field. Dai Yaming was punched by Dai Yao and fell into the ground, blood spurting from his mouth. 3 years of humiliation will be returned to you today. Dai Yao roared. Punch after punch hit Dai Yaming, and even Dai Yao's clothes were splattered with blood. Many viewers couldn't bear to watch this bloody scene and turned their heads away. On the high platform, Zhu Zhuyue cried desperately. Feng Wudong and other people who supported Dai Yao jumped up excitedly, and Zhu Zhuqing, who had always been cold, also smiled beautifully. Dai Yao gasped and looked at the dying Dai Yaming. He did not hold back any of these punches, releasing all the humiliation he had suffered in the past 3 years. After all, he is an offensive soul master, and his life is tough. Even if he is so seriously injured, he can still breathe. He grabbed Dai Yaming's neck with one hand, lifted him up slowly, looked at Zhu Zhuyue on the high platform, and showed a cruel smile. No! Zhu Zhuyue cried so hard that the pear blossoms were wet with rain, and she shouted in despair. Dai Yao held up Dai Yaming and turned around, declaring the victory of the game. The coward hat that had been worn on Dai Yao's head for the past 3 years was shattered into pieces. Many spectators were severely shocked by this scene, and the entire duel arena fell silent. In everyone's eyes, there was only that demon-like figure. Dai Yao threw Dai Yaming to the ground, stepped on his head, pointed at Zhu Zhuyue and said, Zhu Zhuyue, I said 3 years ago, don't regret what you did that day. Today is the day you pay your debt. I'll give you a chance. If you go to the duel field to duel with me today, as long as you win, I will let Dai Yaming go. Dai Yao said loudly. The cold voice echoed throughout the duel field. Hearing Dai Yao's suggestion, the audience burst into an uproar. The 4th prince just fought with the 2nd prince. Although he won by luck, I don't believe he still has soul power. Indeed, the 4th prince is too arrogant. Why is he fighting a great soul master when his soul power is about to be exhausted? Most of the audience believed that Dai Yao had very little soul power left and that he was seeking death by fighting Zhu Zhuyue, who was also a great soul master, but Dai Yaming, who was stepped on, didn't think so. From the few punches Dai Yao had just hit him, he could feel Dai Yao's still surging soul power fluctuations. In other words, Dai Yao had exhausted his level 29 soul power and still had plenty of soul power left. What a monster this is. Only with his powerful soul bone skills can he compete with Dai Yao, but Zhu Zhuyue not only has less soul power than him, but also has less soul skills than him. As a spirit master of the agility attack system, Zhu Zhuyue's most advantageous speed is almost the same as Dai Yao. It can be said that Zhu Zhuyue has no chance of winning against Dai Yao. Dai Yao didn't want to let them go at all. His head was pressed under his feet and it was difficult to open his mouth. He struggled to spit out 2 words, no, that he stretched out his scarred hands, hugged Dai Yao's feet, and begged for mercy in a hoarse voice, please, let her go, let her go. You can torture me no matter how hard you want. Dai Yao was a little surprised. The second prince was actually an infatuated person, but he has no time. Soon he will leave the Star Luo Empire, and he will not come back for a long time. He will never allow Zhu Zhuyue to live in peace. Not long ago, if he hadn't arrived in time, Zhu Zhuqing might have died in Huangquan. How could he easily let Zhu Zhuyue go? Looking at the hesitant Zhu Zhuyue, Dai Yao provocatively said. What? My soul power is almost exhausted. You, a great soul master, dare not accept my challenge. Or, you are the shrinking turtle. Chapter 58 Final Chapter. You are listening at novelfull.audio. The hat that was buckled on Dai Yao was actually returned intact. It's really your own fault. Zhu Zhuyue thought. She wanted to judge from Dai Yao's expression whether he was bluffing, but it was impossible to tell from the murderous face. Thinking that Dai Yao had been fighting for so long, his soul power was almost exhausted. She took a deep breath, and her peach blossom eyes became extremely sharp. She didn't believe that even the weak Dai Yao couldn't defeat him. Okay, since you are looking for death, then I will help you. At this time, Dai Yaming was still begging for mercy, asking him to let Zhu Zhuyue go. Dai Yao ignored it and immediately laughed when he heard Zhu Zhuyue agreed to the challenge. He kicked Dai Yaming aside and stood on the court, waiting for Zhu Zhuyue. Zhu Zhuqing was extremely anxious and understood Dai Yao's desire to avenge her, but in her current state, she did not want Dai Yao to be put in danger for her. Just when she was about to call Dai Yao, Dai Hengyu stopped her. Believe him. Since he continues to challenge Zhu Zhuyue in public, he is definitely sure of victory. Dai Hengyu knew the suffering Dai Yao had suffered in the past 3 years, not to mention that Dai Yao was about to leave the Star Luo Empire and there would be no chance for revenge in a short time. Today is his last chance. In the confusion of the audience, the duel between the two officially began. Zhu Zhuyue looked sadly at Dai Yaming, who was begging for mercy for herself, and glared at Dai Yao. If looks could kill, Dai Yao would have already lost thousands of yuan. I will definitely avenge you. Zhu Zhuyue made up her mind. She was very wary of Dai Yao's power. After possessing the martial soul, she did not choose to confront Dai Yao head-on. Instead, she took advantage of the agility and attack system's soul master to play in circles just like when Dai Yao fought against Dai Yaming. In order to win safely, she wanted to consume Dai Yao's soul power. Dai Yao had just experienced one battle, and it didn't take long to exhaust all his soul power. Wise. Seeing Zhu Zhuyue's actions, Dai Yao understood her thoughts and praised. But what's the use? White light shines, the wings on Dai Yao's back flap, and the king character on his forehead exudes a pressure that cannot be looked directly at, making people want to worship him. The powerful martial soul pressure is enough to frighten the soul masters watching in the front row. As Dai Yao's opponent, Zhu Zhuyue was even more unbearable. Under the pressure of the powerful martial soul, the soul power was not flowing smoothly. Even his steps became sluggish and his speed dropped a lot. Oops. Zhu Zhuyue had a bad feeling in her heart. I caught you. Dai Yao raised a smile on his lips. Run the soul power, perform explosive steps, and the speed will increase immediately. Under the pressure of the powerful martial spirit, Zhu Zhuyue's speed was as slow as a snail in Dai Yao's eyes. Zhu Zhuyue was in front of Dai Yao, but Dai Yao caught up with her at a speed visible to the naked eye. Zhu Zhuyue, who was in stealth state, was shocked in her heart. A huge sense of crisis came over her. She widened her eyes and looked back. It was discovered that Dai Yao's extremely cold face and surging soul power fluctuations meant that he was performing an extremely terrifying soul skill. She knew she couldn't escape, so she could only fight. The yellow soul ring on his body lights up. The second soul skill, 100 Claws of the Netherworld, slightly bending the body, powerful power burst out, forming countless lavender claw marks, grabbing at Dai Yao. No! Dai Yaming, who was lying on the ground unable to move, looked desperate. Baji collapse, Dai Yao shouted angrily. With his strong physical fitness, he forcefully ate Zhu Zhuyue's Netherworld 100 Claws, but he also hit Zhu Zhuyue with one punch. Zhu Zhuyue, who was sent flying into the air by the Baji collapse, was overjoyed. Although she was also seriously injured, Dai Yao forcefully ate her second soul skill and suffered much more serious injuries than him, but she immediately realized something was wrong. She had just blocked Dai Yao's attack with her hand, and the powerful force made her palms numb. This numbness did not stop, and spread rapidly along the arm to the whole body. Then, it evolved into severe pain, and the internal organs were as if on fire, and the pain was extremely severe. Ah! Zhu Zhuyue screamed, her body curled up and lying on the ground, shaking in pain. Dai Yaming, who was lying aside, showed an expression of regret. When fighting Dai Yao, he had been guarding against this move, but Zhu Zhuyue had no skills to resist this move at all. He was defeated just after a confrontation. Dai Yao was secretly happy. This was the power of Njin. He forced himself to use Zhu Zhuyue's soul skills just so that Baji Beng could hit Zhu Zhuyue's body. As long as it hits, the outcome can be decided. Sure enough, he killed Zhu Zhuyue instantly. Ordinary great soul masters are not even qualified to be an opponent in front of Dai Yao. Only Dai Yaming, with a top-level martial spirit and even soul bones, can compete with Dai Yao. Even after fighting until now, Dai Yao still has 20% of his soul power. It can be said that in the realm of great soul masters, he is already invincible. He came to Zhu Zhuyue, looked at her condescendingly, and said coldly. When you wantonly insulted me and Zhu Qing, did you ever think of today? Zhu Zhuyue's charming face was full of fear, and she no longer had the arrogance that she had when she humiliated Dai Yao. Dai Yao raised his right hand high, activated his soul power, and smashed it towards Zhu Zhuyue. The ground shook, Zhu Zhuyue's tower shook violently, and blood flew in the air. The sight of Dai Yao destroying flowers with his ruthless hands chilled the hearts of countless spectators. How could he kill such a beauty? It's just a pity that knives and hidden weapons are not allowed in the duel field, so you can only use your fists. He slowly raised his fist, blood dripping from it. It's all the opponent's blood. This punch was for Zhu Qing. If it hadn't been for me a few days ago, Zhu Qing would have died long ago. Dai Yao said coldly. With one punch, Zhu Zhuyue's entire face was deformed. Just as Dai Yao continued to punch, he felt an obstacle on his feet. That was Dai Yaming's scarred hand. He crawled to Dai Yao little by little, held Dai Yao's feet with his hands, and begged. Let her go, everything is my fault. I sent Fatty to do your bad reputation. Please, let her go. I am willing to use my life to replace hers. Zhu Zhuyue, who was lying motionless on the ground, heard these words, and 2 lines of tears flowed down his face that was beyond recognition. All the viewers were filled with emotion and moved by the sincere relationship between Dai Yaming and Zhu Zhuyue. Although they were princes and concubines, they did not expect that the love between them could make one person die for the other. Dai Yao didn't want to pay attention to Dai Yaming, kicked him aside, and prepared to continue Zhu Zhuyue's execution. Why is the 4th prince like this? He is so cold-blooded. Just, no sympathy at all. Seeing Dai Yao preparing to take action again, many viewers started to condemn him. They didn't understand why Dai Yao wanted to take action even though he had already beaten the 2 princes Black and Blue. Isn't it just a bad reputation that has been carried for 3 years? Didn't Zhu Zhuqing die in the recent duel? Why are you holding on to it so hard? Amid the overwhelming condemnation, Dai Yao turned a deaf ear and channeled the soul power in his body, but a sound transmission entered his ears. Chapter 59 Broken Arm. You are listening at NovelFull.audio. Stop it, Dai Yao, deal with the second prince. Only the winner of the throne competition has this right. As long as you get the throne, you can take revenge on both of them. Dai Yao recognized the voice of the fifth elder. He glanced at the fifth elder on the high platform and didn't want to pay attention to him. If he was the one who lost today, he believed that the fifth elder would also stop Dai Yaming. After all, in the hearts of the fifth elder, family rules were more important than anything else, but why should he stop, just because of the inhumane and rotten family rules? What bullshit rules? He is a normal person with no masochistic tendencies. In the competition for the throne, he is already in an absolutely disadvantageous situation. Not only was he the youngest, his mother also passed away, which meant that he had to face the three princes alone. And what about the family? Are the rules of competition upheld? Where was the family when they were in the cold palace and bullied by those eunuchs? Not long ago, even one of the second prince's men dared to insult him wantonly. Why? Has the family taken care of it? You just throw out a blank check that you can dominate everything by inheriting the throne. There is no reward at all. Why should I sacrifice my life for you? You can't even deliver the fairness you promised, so why should I be loyal to you? Dai Yao snorted coldly, ignored the fifth elder, and prepared to continue attacking Dai Yaming. The fifth elder's eyes narrowed. Is it possible that this boy Dai Yao dares to violate the clan rules? Bishop Ferdinand next to him looked forward to it. As long as Dai Yao threw this punch, it would mean that he had officially broken with the Star Luo royal family. The duel field was filled with boos. Under the gaze of the fifth elder, Bishop Ferdinand was looking forward to it. Dai Yao was about to land the punch. Out of the corner of his eye, he saw Dai Hengyu, who was slowly shaking his head. Indicate him not to drop this punch. Dai Yao was stunned. He could not listen to everyone, but he had to listen to Dai Hengyu. He looked coldly at the second prince and Zhu Zhuqing, who were curled up and hugging each other in front of him. The fist in the air seemed to have solidified and did not fall for a long time. There was no movement for a long time. Dai Yaming, who noticed something unusual, opened his eyes. He found that the murderous intention on Dai Yao gradually dissipated. He pulled up Zhu Zhuqing and kowtowed for the rest of his life. Thank you, Your Highness, Fourth Highness. Your Excellency has a large number, please let us go. Their heads hit the ground heavily, and they were bleeding profusely. The two stood up slowly and were about to leave when Dai Yao stopped them. Stop, I didn't say I would let you go. The cold voice fell in Dai Yaming's ears, like the footsteps of approaching death. If you cut off your arm, I will let you go. Dai Yao said coldly. Today's humiliation will undoubtedly be remembered for the rest of Dai Yaming's life. Although it cannot completely eliminate future troubles, it can reduce Dai Yaming's threat to a minimum by causing him to cut off an arm and never reach the realm of a title Douluo. In the original work, Tang Hao cut off an arm and a leg in order to peel off his soul bones and return them to the Haotian sect. His soul power level dropped from more than 90 to 79, and he could no longer go up. It was not until Tang San later used the blue-silver domain's ability to embrace all rivers to restore Tang Hao's limbs that Tang Hao returned to the title Douluo realm. For ordinary people, there is absolutely no possibility of recovering a broken limb. Only a dead king like Tang San has the ability to restore limbs. As long as Dai Yaming loses his arm, he cannot pose a threat to Dai Yao unless he reaches the level of a title Douluo. The fifth elder did not allow him to kill the two of them, but breaking Dai Yaming's arm was his bottom line. When they heard that Dai Yao had let them go, both Dai Yaming and Dai Yaming became happy, but when they thought of cutting off their own arm, they couldn't help but feel a little gloomy. Dai Yaming gritted his teeth and said, Okay, I promise you, as long as I break one of my arms, you must let us both go. Once a word is spoken, it's hard to chase it back. Dai Yao replied. No. Zhu Zhuqing, who was beyond recognition, took Dai Yaming's arm and stopped her from crying. She knew that Dai Yaming's goal was to increase his strength and inherit the throne, but after breaking his arm, his body was no longer complete and he would never reach the end of the road to become a soul master. It will be Dai Yaming's eternal regret. In response to Dai Yao's words, she now extremely regrets what she did. Dai Yaming gently took away Zhu Zhuqing's hand, and smiled with a face covered in blood, which was a little scary, and comforted her gently. It's okay. It's worth breaking my arm to keep us alive. That he knew Dai Yao's purpose in asking him to cut off his arm. If he didn't agree, Dai Yao would definitely leave his life on the field. after enduring 3 years of boring training and not saying a word to insults, Dai Yao is undoubtedly a ruthless person. Even the rules of the family may not be able to restrain him. He took a deep breath, activated his soul power, put his right hand on his left arm, and exerted force. The left arm was completely severed, blood sprayed in the air like a fountain, and several rays of light rose from the auditorium and fell on Dai Yaming. The wound gradually stopped. Dai Yaming's face was as pale as paper. He was sweating from the pain and said weakly, "That's it." Dai Yao nodded. "He's a man." Dai Yao praised in his heart. Zhu Zhuyue looked at Dai Yao resentfully, but Dai Yaming walked up to her, smiled and shook his head, signaling her not to hate Dai Yao. The two of them were responsible for what happened today. It was Dai Yao's great mercy that they were lucky enough to survive. Then Zhu Zhuyue helped Dai Yaming up, and the two of them staggered down the duel field and slowly disappeared into the contestants' tunnel. Sparse applause gradually sounded in the duel field, as if it was infected. The applause became louder and louder, and in the end, it was like thunder. Although the outcome of the duel was unexpected, the second prince's infatuation and the fourth prince's strength were a feast for the eyes of the spectators. They know that from today on, a new star has risen in the Star Luo Empire. Talent and talent are rare to see in ancient and modern times. Zhu Zhuqing jumped down from the stands, rushed to the duel field excitedly, and threw herself into Dai Yao's arms. At this time, she had tears streaming down her face. Dai Yao was surprised that Zhu Zhuqing, who had always been cold, showed such emotion in front of him for the first time. After a long time, Zhu Zhuqing gradually came to his senses, blushing on his cheeks, and he shyly turned his head away. Many students were envious when they saw the iceberg beauty in daily life showing such a face in Dai Yao's arms, but they couldn't afford to be jealous. With the dazzling Dai Yao now, it can be said that Zhu Zhuqing has reached a high level. On the high platform, the fifth elder looked at Dai Yao for a long time and remained silent. Dai Yao's move undoubtedly violated the family rules. Thinking of Dai Yao's talent, all the anguish finally turned into a sigh. Bishop Ferdinand looked at the fifth elder with a smile on his face, as if he was hiding something. Seeing Ferdinand's disgusting expression, the fifth elder snorted coldly and walked away. Among the many eager gazes, there is only one that is extremely cold and has a murderous intent. That look came from Davis. The second volume is finally coming to an end, and the next volume begins the journey of Tiando. Chapter 60. Don't mess with the fourth one. You are listening at novelfull.audio. After today's battle, Dai Yao will definitely become a thorn in Davis's side. He is only 9 years old this year, while Dai Yaming is already 15 years old. He had 6 years less training time than Dai Yaming, but even so, he still defeated Dai Yaming. Dai Yaming not only possesses a top-notch beast martial soul, but also possesses a soul bone, and his soul power has reached level 29. He is so powerful that he has no opponent in the realm of great soul masters. However, he was defeated by Dai Yao, who was 6 levels lower. If Dai Yao hadn't been less experienced than him in actual combat, I'm afraid this duel would have ended in a one-sided situation. This duel not only shocked all the audience, but also made Davis feel cold all over. That gaze was cold and piercing. Dai Yao easily judged the source of the gaze, and the joy of victory gradually dissipated. He looked at Davis without fear. In the battle for the throne, the two of them must fight, but Davis will never be as stupid as Dai Yaming and give Dai Yao a chance to grow. Davis snorted coldly and left the arena with Zhu Zhuqing. Dai Yao's mood instantly became heavy. It seems that Davis is planning to attack me. I need to leave the Star Luo Empire as soon as possible. After the soul fight, Dai Yao stayed in the mimetic environment for several days, under the waterfall, practiced day after day. Although the battle of souls has ended and Dai Yaming has been defeated, he cannot relax his demands on himself. On the road of Soul Master, Dai Yaming is just a stumbling block on the road, and he will encounter more and stronger enemies in the future. Originally, he planned to leave the Star Luo Empire immediately after the soul fighting was over. But Zhu Zhuqing has not yet obtained the second soul ring, and needs to return to his family to hunt soul beasts before he can leave. This is because the soul masters raised by the family are carefully selected by the ancestors of the past generations and then stay in the family. They are the ones who are most suitable for the family's martial arts. In the Tiando Empire, it was difficult to find suitable soul beasts, so even though time was tight, Zhu Zhuqing still had to return to the Zhu family to hunt the soul beasts. The situation of the two of them is much better now. Since Dai Yao defeated Dai Yaming, Zhu Zhuqing's status has also risen. In the Zhu family, the people who bullied her in the past greeted her with smiles, and no longer looked as domineering as before. Zhu Zhuqing knew that their change of attitude was all because of Dai Yao. She was extremely lucky to have a fiancé like Dai Yao. In the past few days since Zhu Zhuqing left, Dai Yao's life has undergone earth-shaking changes. First of all, there was an endless stream of visitors, all wanting to seek refuge with Dai Yao. After defeating Dai Yaming's power was scattered. In the entire academy, the power of the eldest prince's family was dominant. The original four major forces that should not be messed with have lost one of them, and the other two major forces are completely unable to compare with the eldest prince. In the chaotic situation of the college, many people saw opportunities, that is to join the fourth prince and establish the fourth force in the academy. Although Dai Yao is currently only a great soul master, there is a big gap in soul power between him and the eldest prince, and the power of his mother clan is even more different. But Dai Yao continued to create miracles, defeating the third prince and the second prince in a row, and his unprecedented second soul ring absorbed a 1,000-year soul ring, which was enough to make many people make risky investments. In the past, they thought that there was a gap in strength between the fourth prince, the third prince, and the second prince. Isn't it the same as now? There is a gap between him and the eldest prince, but Dai Yao didn't defeat them all one by one, so it was possible to defeat the eldest prince. What's more, Dai Yao is alone and no one is optimistic about him. After the soul fight, people's eyes are sharp and they all know Dai Yao's potential. It's too late to help him when he is in need, but he can add icing on the cake, so, they rushed to visit Dai Yao and wanted to support him as their master, but Dai Yao refused them all. After all, he would leave the Star Luo Empire soon, and he really didn't have any intention to become a powerful person. Moreover, when Dai Yaming retreats and faces Davis, he will be the first to bear the brunt. With Dai Yaming's lesson, Davis would not give him a chance to practice. Retreating bravely from the rapids is the best option. Avoid the fight with Davis. For the first time in 3 years, he set foot in the noble dining room of the cafeteria. The contempt and disdain he had at the beginning no longer existed. Even though he was wearing the simplest robe, he was still respected by all the soul masters. From the moment he stepped into the cafeteria, he attracted the attention of countless people. He is like a lion on the grassland, majestically patrolling his territory. While eating, he had no so-called aristocratic etiquette and no manners at all, but this did not cause anyone's dissatisfaction. On the contrary, many nobles felt that Dai Yao was free and easy and unpretentious. This is the benefit of strength. If you are strong enough, everything you do will be right. When he was kicked out of the canteen by Dai Yaming, he never set foot in the canteen again. Therefore, this has also become a bit of a knot. I came to the cafeteria today to untie the knot in my heart, but it was not as satisfying as I imagined and became a bit boring. Of course, among the many changes, the ones that troubled him the most were the girls who kept expressing their affection for him. It used to be because of his bad reputation that people would constantly visit his training place to witness the so-called academy jokes. Now, there are many girls who have a crush on him, harassing him day and night, making him extremely annoyed. Even walking on the street, you will be pestered non-stop. Whenever he encountered a girl's entanglement, Zhu Zhuqing would look at him with a faint look. He felt that if Zhu Zhuqing hadn't been unable to use martial arts now, Zhu Zhuqing would have been unable to resist taking action and drive away the girls who were pestering him. Maybe he would have enjoyed this feeling in his previous life, but now he is extremely bored with this situation. It really hinders my practice. Dai Yao thought with disgust. Women are not as important as cultivation. What's more, there is a famous iceberg beauty beside him, and there are not many people in the academy as beautiful as her. If it's Hulaina or Qian Renxue, I can consider it. Dai Yao touched his chin and thought seriously. It would be better if it was Bibi Dong or Bo Saishi. Night, there is no moon today, and thick clouds block the moonlight. It was pitch dark in the forest, and the sounds of wild beasts could be heard from time to time. There was a knock on the door. Come in. Dai Yao's eyes narrowed. Could it be that some girls came over to hug me again at night? It seems that His Highness, the Fourth Highness, has been in some trouble recently. The visitor teased. He knew Dai Yao's affairs well and knew what Dai Yao was troubled by recently. This person was covered in a black robe. When he took off his hood, Dai Yao immediately knew the identity of the person. "It's you," Dai Yao said in surprise. The person in front of him was Lan Yuxuan, the fourth person in the academy who could not be messed with, the noble leader of many principalities and kingdoms, and the crown prince of the Bailtan kingdom. "According to the order of Platinum Bishop Ferdinand of the Star Luo Empire's Spirit Temple, we assist the Fourth Highness in leaving the Star Luo Empire."